Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in again. I had a lot of questions and a lot of people that wanted to know basically what all I've gone through this year, 2018, with basically it's been a life-changing diagnosis and experience for me with my kidney disease. Obviously, I was diagnosed about 6 years ago with it, and at that time, they said it would be nothing more than a nuisance. I'd have some swelling and some fatigue with it, but it would be all controlled by medications, water pills, blood pressure medication if it got too bad, things like that. Obviously, that wasn't the case, as now things have gotten a lot worse, and it wasn't all what they said it was going to be. It got a lot worse than it was supposed to. I've had some bad luck, I would say, and some rough times, but I think I'm rebounding from it, and just wanted to share, my experience from uh, when I started getting very sick till up to today, and hopefully, some of this will help you if you're going through, um, you know, with kidney health problem with kidney disease or basically any health problem. Maybe I could, provide some positivity to you or some advice. Obviously, this is just personal advice, personal opinions. I'm not a doctor. Um, I don't have any, degrees in anything medical. It's just personally what I have learned and gone through with my health issues and diagnosis. So just wanted to take a couple minutes today just to start and from the beginning, and I'll just keep continuing making video series uh, as I went on with this year, what all happened. So basically, end of September, October, I ended up going to the hospital with a lot of swelling that I just couldn't get rid of. My water pills stopped working, basically, and I was very swelled up. Went to the hospital and was admitted. They gave me IV Lasix, and I lost about 72 pounds, I believe it was, in 2 weeks in the hospital. And they sent me home, started me on quite a few different water pills at home, Lasix, spironolactone, and metalizone, I believe. Um, and for a little while, this worked, but unfortunately, it didn't work for too long. And at that time, my nephrologist added 60 milligrams of prednisone, which is the pretty much the standard treatment, first line treatment for minimal change disease. Now, I had tried this before about 5 or 6 years ago when I was first diagnosed. When I was on 60 milligrams of the prednisone, I quickly lost about 80 pounds of fluid and swelling in about a 2 week period. And then as soon as they started tapering me down to 40 milligrams and 20 and 10, I started maintaining and retaining fluid again and gaining all that weight back. So they uh, put me as steroid dependent. Um, so we tried again with the steroids as it was at the time in uh, November of 2017. We tried the steroids again, the prednisone, for a second time, hoping that maybe it would work this time. And then we were going to add another medication, cyclophosphamide, which is a chemo drug actually. We were going to add that when I started tapering off of the steroid to hopefully keep me from swelling back up. This time around, the steroids didn't work right away. It took about 3 weeks for me to start losing fluid and weight from that fluid, and but immediately I got the side effects of not being able to sleep. Got some aches and pains in my joints, things like that. Prednisone has some very nasty side effects if you've ever taken it before, especially at high doses. So that was kind of an issue. But finally, it started working early December, and I lost about 90 pounds in probably 2 or 3 weeks' time after it started working. So at the time, I was feeling better from losing all that weight. I was obviously pretty hyped up because of the steroids, and it really messes with your mind and things. It makes everything go fast for you in life. You want to do as much as you can, and you really can't sleep, and you just gotta be doing something all the time. You really don't have any kind of attention span. At least this is my experience with it. So, anyways, made it through the holidays. Um, Christmas, I started feeling a little bit better. Was able to make it to the family's uh, Christmas parties. Was able to still drive, get in my truck and everything. Um, but I couldn't work um, just because when I would get into my vehicle, that would be it. Like I would have to sit there for a while before I could get back out and walk back into my house. So once I was in my vehicle, I was in the vehicle for a while. I wasn't really able to go in anywhere, any stores or anything, because I just didn't have the energy to do so. And with all the side effects of the prednisone, all my muscles and my joints seemed to ache, so it was really tough to walk. So so basically, I couldn't work from basically the beginning of December and 2017, and the only time I did get out was to make it to these family Christmas parties, and that was rough. And then every once in a while, maybe I'd be able to get in the car and drive, or in my truck and drive. But anyways, come January, uh, I mostly stayed in the house. Started declining. My wife started having to make my meals for me, bringing meals to me in a chair in the living room. I couldn't get into bed. I was basically sleeping and spending all my time in a chair in the living room all day. Um, I would get up to go to the bathroom, which was, I'd say, about like 10 feet away, and even that was starting to get tough. Um, by the beginning of February 2018, I was using a walker to walk because I just didn't have the strength to walk on my own anymore. Um, and It was the middle of February 2018 where I started, using my walker to go to the bathroom. And like I said, it was only like 10 feet away, but I would get so short of breath that I felt like I was going to pass out. And when I would try to sit up, I could barely sit up to a standing position on my own. I was so weak, my legs just wanted to give out. So I ended up finally giving in. I'm very stubborn. I gave in, went to the hospital, and I was admitted. And I was admitted there for about a month, a little over a month. At this time, in the first weeks, they found I had developed a lung infection, a very bad lung infection in my right lung. They had a huge abscess that took up, they said, 80% of my right lung, um, which explains the shortness of breath. I was also over 400 pounds because of all the swelling that started coming back. The steroids stopped working, and all that swelling and fluid that I lost came back plus more. So I was in pretty bad shape. I could barely walk when I went into the hospital. Um, and in those first couple of weeks, I even got weaker and wasn't able to even get out of bed. I couldn't move in bed. Um, it was very bad. Uh, I was totally weak, and nothing seemed to be helping. They found that my kidneys weren't filtering my blood and cleaning my blood like they should be. Obviously, they weren't getting rid of the fluid as they should be, and the Lasix just wasn't doing its job. Even the IV Lasix, it wasn't getting the fluid off fast enough, and without being with having the infection in my lung, we couldn't use the steroids anymore to help get fluid off, or a chemo drug like cyclophosphamide, or the Rituxan, or different choices of medications that I could have tried next for putting my disease in remission. It just wasn't possible with this infection. So at that time, I had to start dialysis, and this totally scared the crap out of me. Spent many nights just crying and very emotional. I'm not one to really show emotion if you know me, but ever since then and during that time, I started showing a lot of emotion and became very depressed. I thought for sure I was going to die in that month's time, and I just had no motivation for anything. Um, a friend of mine wanted me actually. He said, you should really start videoing your experiences, and that way you can see how far you've come when you do recover. And at that time, I didn't believe I would ever recover, walk again, or be sitting here today telling about my experiences. So I didn't do any of that. I'm just kind of doing it now and reflecting on what happened. But I wish I would have done, like taken more pictures and videos of that time. Not that I want to remember that horrible time in my life, but it would give me something to look back at and see what I've overcome. But I do know what I've overcome from what I remember, and that was a really rough time. And I'm still not there yet. Still not 100%. I still got a long way to go and a long recovery, but I'm better off than what I was in February. I'm going to leave it off there. We're going to leave it at February with the hospital visit, starting dialysis. And my next video, I'll pick up from there, and we'll go on to March and April, and what happened after my month in the hospital, and what I had to go through afterwards, and we'll just pick up from there. If you made it this far, I appreciate you listening, and hopefully, you'll follow my experience. You can subscribe to the channel, and you'll get the updates when I do post a new video. I'll try to get them up pretty often, so I can do anything I can to get my experiences out there and help others, and just kind of keep my experiences in a vlog format. So thanks for watching again. Really appreciate it. Thanks for to my subscribers that do subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you.